Welcome to episode 7 of Euro Previews, and today we are continuing with the Group of Death, and today's nation is Albania. Albania were superb in Euro qualifiers, topping the group with Czech Republic and Poland, and scoring some ridiculous golazos on the way. But to help me with the video today, we have Aldi, an expert on Albanian football. You can go find his link in the description down below to find everything about Albanian football. But further ado, let's get to the preview and prediction for Albania for Euro 2024. Nickname for this team, Aldi? No, my nickname is the Puskas national team, because every goal you guys scored in the qualifiers was just Puskas worthy goals. It was just golazo after golazo. So what has changed a lot with this national team since Sylvinho has been manager? Because obviously this is his first go around with Albania. He was manager since 2023. So what has changed? Because all of a sudden you were in a tough group with Czech Republic and Poland, and now you qualify to your second ever tournament. So what has Sylvinho done to the national team that has gotten you guys to this position now?
We were with Eddie Rea, obviously a manager that has experience in Serie A, since the 90s and until 2010s. And we picked him because we were in a transition team to literally compete for the World Cup. But we were actually close to make it. But his tactics, Rea's tactics, were not the best because his tactics were 3-5-2, and that didn't work out properly for the team. So we needed a changing manager, a new manager for the team. We had many candidates, obviously national candidates, for example, manager of Balkani, for example, Daya, who has done a really good job in Albanian football, coaching the likes of Sylvinho and Balkani, and also Besni Kasi, who used to coach Belgian football, even in Saudi football. But we went for Sylvinho. Now, Sylvinho is a new name. I mean, he had experience with the Brazilian national team. He used to be Tite's assistant. He had a few experiences in Brazilian league and Lyon. Depay actually, before Sylvinho left Lyon, he actually said that Sylvinho, if he stayed long in Lyon, he could make a difference. With Albania, the first game was against Poland, his debut, and we saw that his tactics and everything, the 4-3-3 actually worked. But unfortunately, we lost to Poland, 0-1, barely. And so the next coming games, we started to see the real tactics of Sylvinho and improved our game massively. You have, for example, those banger goals of Asani and the counter-attacking plays and the strong defense that we pulled off against especially Poland and Czech Republic are a huge difference to the team. Sylvinho's tactics, especially getting Zabaleta as an assistant, which is never an Balkan football team actually had the South American managers. I can only think of Portugal when they had Luis Felipe Scolari.
I think that's kind of what's helped you guys. You haven't gone so defensive, maybe in the past where you were a bit more defensive. Just keep it low block, low scoring. But now it just seems like you're very free scoring. But then my question to you is, what has happened in the last 4 games? Because you didn't beat Moldova, you didn't beat Faroe Islands, you got trashed by Chile, and you lost to Sweden. So is that going to be a disruption then heading into these Euros, that the friendlies and I know obviously with the qualifiers you fielded probably a beast team against Faroe Islands and very much struggled away to Moldova, but are you worried with those 4 performances then heading into the summer?
The match against Moldova, obviously, it was going to be a tough task because we already seen Moldova what they did. They drew to Czech Republic and then they did a mad comeback against Poland. Obviously, Moldova was going to be a tough task. We even were in an advantage, but then in the last minutes of the game, they equalized. And then against Faroe Islands, it was a match that we should have won, but we were we already qualified. We should not tire ourselves or anything. But then the 2 friendlies, I've seen those 2 friendlies. The one against Chile, seriously, the team was not performing the best. I don't know, maybe it was because Chile was Latin American style. They just go harsh and they go ferociously attacking and everything. I mean, but when Broja came in and Baliu came in, something sparkling happened. But it was just once though, and the game just ended. But against Sweden, though, we had the chance to literally even score. We were doing good plays, but it was still not good enough to at least draw against Sweden. Those two games, including those games, those two last games of qualifiers, maybe our players didn't took seriously enough, or they just friendlies at the end of the day. And the real test is going to be the Euros.
Now let's get more about the team, because I think this team is very intriguing in the sense that you have a lot of players in Serie A, which is not surprising whatsoever. You know, Jimzisti. The one aspect I like a lot about Albania is the midfield. The midfield with Barami, Ramadani, and Aslani. I really like Aslani. I think he's a baller of a player. Would you say that that's the strength of this Albanian team, that your midfield is very good? You have good ball progressors. I mean, Aslani, the guy can score Puskas goals. We saw the goal he scored against Faroe Islands. So is that the sort of strength? Because you see your opponents in the Euros. You got Spain, quality midfield. Italy, quality midfield. Croatia, quality midfield. So those three are going to have to play amazing tournaments in order for Albania to go far in this Euros. So is that the strength of this Albanian team, is the midfield, or would you say it's something else?
I would say the strongest is that we are as a unity. Like we are strong. Like no matter what, even if it's our midfield, our attack, or our defense, at the end of the day, it's unity in the team, and that's what Sylvinho has, taught us. We can literally make miracles, and that's what we did in the qualifiers. Like we worked as a team. Like there was no, egoism or everything. We just worked as a team completely. We didn't have that when we were during Panucci and Rea. Like you would have like miscommunication and everything, but with Sylvinho we were completely as unity. And talking about the strongest points, yes, it's true that we have a good midfield. Like Aslani has been really good, even though he didn't get too much minutes with Inter. And Barami with Sassuolo. I mean, Sassuolo are relegated in Serie A. It's actually is good though. Like with the national team, he literally does the plays and everything. But also the players that actually are doing good, like I said, is Jimshiti. Jimshiti is having the best season of his career so far with Atalanta. Also Mucci, Ernest Mucci, who has done a phenomenal season with Lega Warsaw and now with Besiktas in his 6 months, first 6 months in Turkey. It's not been bad at all. And still, Aston Villa are interested to sign him. But I would say the main issue that we have, I would say Broya, because Broya hasn't got any minutes with Fulham. Also, our goalkeepers, like Berisha and Strakosha, during this year, so far they didn't have any minutes with Empoli and Brentford. The only goalkeeper who has been consistent was Elan Castrati, who plays with Cittadella in Serie B. Usually starting, I would say Berisha because of the experience. Like he has plenty of experience in Italian Serie A.
The midfield, I would say, is very good. What's then a weakness? Because when I was watching some of the qualifiers and the goals you conceded, it seems like set pieces is not really the strength of this team. So are you worried about that sort of aspect, or what other aspects are you worried about heading into the Euros in a very, very difficult group?
We are in a tough group. We're in a group of death, obviously. We have Spain, which they have plenty of talent. You have Lamine Yamal, you have Pau Kubarsi, you have Rodri, one of the best center defensive midfielders in the world. We will have difficulties against Spain the most because with Italy and Croatia, we can do results. Because Italy, obviously, we Albanians love Italian football. I mean, we even faced them. I mean, I believe like 2 years ago when we even scored the first goal as well in the 50th minute from a set piece from Bayrami and then a big header from Ismaili that scored the goal. But then we lost that friendly, which it could have been 3-3 as well. Against Croatia, I mean, it's the first time that we actually faced Croatia. Like, never in our history.
Oh, ever?
Never faced Croatia. Never, never. It's
Wow.
crazy. But we do know Croatia very well because Croatia always have been, these last years, they've been phenomenal. How spirit of Croatia never gives up, which is still an inspiration to this day. Like, what teams are we facing? Like I said, Spain is really tough opponent. We're gonna have so much difficulties with them, even Italy and Croatia. But I can tell you that we are a nation that we never give up, and we're gonna do everything to just, reach. I would say minimally third place.
Where would you think you would struggle the most then against those three teams? It's about then keeping possession of the ball, out of possession, working in transition. where would you struggle most against the top teams then, do you think?
What I've seen like these years of watching my national team playing, I mean, for example, the last friendly we played against Spain, like Spain plays obviously slow football, tiki taka and everything, which they tire opponents a lot. And but when we had, for example, Balio and Broya, they easily had the pace to pass those defenders. Even against Italy, the same thing happened. The main issue that we're gonna have is how are we gonna make the play towards these teams who are even top 10 in the FIFA rankings. That they are really strong. Like they've been to Euros, World Cups. It's our second time in the Euros, and we've never been in the World Cup, which is still to come. So it's gonna be a real test.
You guys can really surprise teams. I think, you're going to defend a lot. You're not going to keep a lot of the ball against Spain and Italy and Croatia. So where I would see your most joy is basically on the counterattacks. But the struggle that you're going to have is how do you defend out of possession? Because clearly with Sylvinho, he's a guy, keep possession, direct attack. So I think this sort of group favors Albania in the sense that it favors your style of play. You're not going to have a lot of the ball. You're not going to be under pressure to perform. The glorious moment for Albania is qualifying 2 Euros. So you have that element of surprise for you guys. I remember at the last Euros, it was very close. You got to the, 90th minute against France, lost there. I think it was like the first 10 minutes you conceded against Switzerland. So you guys are definitely competitive. But this group is like, is the elite of the elite of Europe.
Level,
so
another level, yeah. We obviously Euro 2016 qualifiers. We beat Portugal. We beat France. We drew 2 times with Denmark. We had the last match against Armenia, which we had to win because if we didn't win against Armenia, we would be in playoffs and never been in the group in Euro 2016. But we did, and we actually finished second, which is not bad, which was historical back then. And then in Euro 2016, yes, we were so close actually to beat Switzerland 2-1. If it wasn't for those like save from summer, even against France, we showed that we can actually defend against big teams. But unfortunately, that time we when we do something good, we always concede in the last minutes. That was our problem, like back then with the Biazzi.
it's funny enough that the first game is against Italy. So Albanians love Italian football, and going up against Italy in the first game is wonderful. I'm going to give my prediction of how far I think Albania will go. I'm going to be very kind. I'm going to say group stage exit. Just if Albania were in a group with the Ukraine, Romania, and Belgium, I actually think Albania could finish second or third in that group. But this is the group of death. I have no disrespect towards Albania. I think they can definitely surprise, but it's you're going up against three heavyweights. Where I could see Albania having joy is they got to do the same thing as Costa Rica in 2014 World Cup. Remember, Costa Rica was against Uruguay, Italy, and England. What do?
Yes.
Top the group. So anything is possible in football. But for me, I just think it's a group stage exit for Albania.
I even watched like some other people's predictions as well. They put us both, which to be honest, I'm not mad or being mad or selfish or anything because obviously we're in a top group and I'm not gonna be like arrogant or anything because we already know what our opponents are, what are we gonna face, and etc. But I just have that feeling. I just really feel that we can do something. But those friendlies and those 2 last qualifier games made me feel that I'm between 50-50. Maybe we can do something, maybe we can't. Our defense is in form. And also our midfield. The only issue is just the attack. Like Broya, obviously, is gonna start because he's our best striker that our national team has ever seen. Even the other strikers, like for example, you have Milin Dak who plays for Rubin Kazan in Russian league. He is in form too. Even Ray Manay with Sivasspor, which he didn't have a good career. Like he was with Barcelona B. One time he was with Barcelona's first team as well. Before he went to Watford when he didn't show himself because obviously in the English league and everything is really tough. And then he went to Sivasspor where he found himself. In fact, he even improved. But I don't know how is he gonna be when he's gonna be getting subbed in, replacing Broya or Daku replacing Broya, etc. It depends on what Sylvinho will do. We should be for a third place spot, like to qualify at least as one of the 4 best third place teams.
Albania just got to hope that Asani and Seferi just continue their ridiculous. I mean, was it Asani who was scoring the ridiculous long range goals? If he keeps doing that, then I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, Asani was scoring some
but
absolute golosas.
you know what's the problem? You know what's the problem? Like since after the Euro qualifiers, like Asani was on verge to go to like the big European teams were interested for him, but somehow problems with Guangzhou and him didn't let them go. But now he's not getting any single minute. Like I just really I don't know about any other right wingers that can fill Asani's spot. Like for example, I can tell you we have a certain youngster which Gruda who plays for Mainz, and he's been really sensational in Bundesliga. Like there's talks with him to join Albania, but there's not too much information about it, just to keep it quiet or anything. Like I can see Gruda literally being better than Asani because he has the play, he has the pace as well. He's sensational. He's one of the best youngsters that in Bundesliga with Mainz. But also you have Anis Mehmeti who plays with Bristol. Then you have Adnor Muccioli who plays for in Sweden in Swedish league. Asani, I mean, he's done everything for us, but he's not getting any minutes with Guangzhou.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Thank you all for watching. As you can see, this is not going to be a cakewalk for Albania in this group, but they have the element of surprise in their favor, and they got some ballers in their team. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, as we are continuing our Euro previews. And next up is Croatia. So have a beautiful day, stay safe in this crazy world, and until next time, adios.